The husky pressed her nose against the crying toddler's mouth 6 times in 1 hour. Her mother finally pulled her off with both hands. That is the moment she almost lost him. She thought the husky had become fixated on the toddler's face. She was catastrophically wrong. Isolde Mercer had been a pediatric emergency nurse for 9 years. She had seen more than most parents ever would, and she trusted what she had seen. That was the trap. 15-month-old Rowan had woken that morning ordinary, not fussy, not warm, not different in any way. Isolde Mercer could point to. Vega, the family's Siberian Husky, had been part of the household since before Rowan was born, gentle to the point of being predictable, the kind of animal that people described as sweet, and left it at that, which is why what happened next made no sense at the time. Vega crossed the room slower than usual. He came to where Rowan was sitting and lowered his face until it was close, closer than Isolde Mercer had ever seen him get, and would not back away. Rowan began to cry. Vega did not move. Isolde Mercer watched from the doorway with a coffee cup in her hand and felt the first thread of unease she recognized as professional. Vega, back up. He lifted his eyes to her and stayed exactly where he was. Rowan cried harder. Vega pressed his nose closer, slow and deliberate, and held it there. Isolde Mercer set down her coffee. In 9 years of pediatric work, she had seen dogs upset children. Before, she had seen the pattern: stress behavior, resource guarding, overstimulation around a distressed child. She had seen families dismiss warning signs until it was too late. She knew what this looked like. She crossed the room and put herself between them. Vega moved around her. He wasn't growling, he wasn't stiff. But he would not leave Rowan alone. Her husband Fedor came in from the hallway and watched for 30 seconds. Should we put him in the yard for a while? Isolde Mercer was already nodding. Her mother-in-law, who had come to help that week, said it from the doorway without being asked. You're right. You can't take that kind of risk with the baby. They had all reached the same conclusion. That felt, at the time, like confirmation. The door clicked shut behind Vega. Rowan stopped crying almost immediately, which felt like proof. Isolde Mercer picked her child up and held her and felt the quiet of a problem solved. She went to fold laundry in the next room, the monitor on the counter beside her. Vega was scratching at the back door within 10 minutes. Not barking, scratching, a continuous, focused, rhythmic scraping that did not stop. Fedor let him in. Vega went directly to the doorway where Rowan was, positioned himself at the threshold, and would not move. Isolde Mercer came to stand beside Fedor. She looked at Vega standing at the edge of the room. She looked at how still he was, how focused. In 9 years, she had learned one thing above all else about children in trouble: the silence that follows distress is not always peace. She went to Rowan. The collar was wrong. Not dramatically, not the gray she knew to fear, but off. She touched the small hand. She touched the small forehead. She was already reaching for her phone before she finished forming the thought. The number she got back was not what she had prepared herself for. Blood glucose 468 milligrams per deciliter. Ketones critically elevated. Diabetic ketoacidosis. If you stay for stories about what animals sense before we do, you're in the right place. Subscribe so you don't miss the next one. Dr. Eulalia Bergstrom, pediatric endocrinologist at Ravensmore Children's, was the one who explained it. Another 2 hours, and we are managing full cerebral edema, she said. You brought this child in exactly when you did. Whatever made you check? Trust That next time, Isolde Mercer did not answer for a long time. She was looking through the 4 days behind her at every moment that had made no sense. Vega refusing to move. Vega pressing his face close. Vega pushing his body between her and the child. The scratching at the door. Every single behavior she had read as a threat had been a report she couldn't hear. The face pressed close. Not aggression, chemical detection. The refusal to leave after every correction. Not defiance, an alarm system that couldn't turn itself off. The scratch at the back door. Not impatience, the sound of him trying to get back to his post. The vigil at the threshold, perfectly still. Not dominance, medical surveillance. He had been reading what she couldn't see since the moment Rowan woke up. Has your dog ever done something you couldn't explain until it was the only thing that made sense? Tell us in the comments. These stories deserve to be heard. They drove home in the dark. Rowan was stable, wrapped in a hospital blanket. Fedor carried her inside. Isolde Mercer opened the back door herself. Vega came in without drama. He walked to where Fedor had set Rowan down and lay close beside her, the full length of his body pressed to her side. He did not look up. He did not perform relief. He put his chin on his paws and exhaled once, long and slow, and stayed exactly where he had been trying to stay for 4 days. Every guardian deserves to be recognized, even the ones who never asked for anything in return. If stories like this matter to you, subscribe so you never miss the next one. Isolde Mercer sat on the floor across from them. She did not reach for her phone. She did not move to the kitchen. She watched the rise and fall of her child's chest and the Siberian Husky's chin resting level on the floorboards, his eyes still open, still watching the way they had been watching all day. The next story involves a family who almost gave the dog back to the shelter 3 weeks before the diagnosis. That changed everything.